ready. Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libas.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are you lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want go!
I can literally feel the steam coming out your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
The Wednesday Week! Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. This week we've got two fixtures to get through, one against Swansea and a really miserable one because it's Coventry, and regardless of the result, it's already miserable. Tonight joining me, I've got John, I've got Ash, who's going to be manning the comments, and also I've got former podcaster, now turned current podcaster, Blair Hardman.
Blair Hardman.
And I am the God of Hellfire, and I invite you to burn. So join us this evening. Don't forget to get involved. There's a lot to get through tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so let's do it. Now, John, how was your weekend? All right, yeah?
Yeah, all right. Obviously, the disappointment of the game, as we'll get to. Just wish it'd warm up a bit. Just get a bit fed up with this coat now,
I know, innit?
Can we have a bit of warmth,
I've had, Ash, I've had to put the eating on.
Too much money, you Daniel.
Have you relented yet, or are you still making the kids walk around and put a big jumper on?
Yeah, no, the eating's on. Much to my dismay, mate. Much to my dismay.
Blair, it looks like Blackpool Illuminations at your gaff. Are you flogging money on the electric bill or what?
Oh, well, you just spend what you want, don't you?
No chance here, eh?
Wow. All right, John, let's get into it, right? So, midweek, we're up against Swansea. How did you feel going into this one? What did you think? We're going to smash them, weren't we, right?
I felt very confident facing Swansea. I don't think they're a team that have been on a particularly good form. I think they were struggling. I think they've since sacked the manager, haven't they, as recently as today. So, we've got a bit of a habit of doing that, haven't we? Curse for some managers. So I did feel quite confident leading into the game. I did also feel it might be scrappy, not least because it's just one of them, tough place to go midweek. We've not had a great record. I don't think we'd won at Swansea since the 80s or something ridiculous. Probably at the old stadium then.
It was 41 years. We've only beaten them once in 4 decades.
And John was confident.
He's confident, mate.
I was still confident because Swansea were that bad, and I thought, you know what, we're breaking records. Danny doesn't do hoodoos, and he breaks.
Danny doesn't do hoodoos.
Hoodoos.
We've already come up with a name for the show, John. I feel like we've missed out on a banger there, mate. I feel like we've missed one. Yeah. But yes, you're right. It was 4 decades since it happened. Blair, here's the lineup for you, bro. So Beadle, Valerie, Ihekwe, Lowe, Johnson, Charles, Ingleson, Patterson, the Gas Man, Windass as captain, and Ike Ugbo. Now, defence just is what it is, isn't it?
On Windass as captain, I think he's been brilliant since he's been captain.
You reckon?
I feel like he's really took it on. Like he's really proud to be the captain of our club, I think.
You reckon? Because
Yeah.
I feel like right. This is going to sound mental, but I text the lads and said I'm done with Windass. Me, he was missing. He's bloody rubbish, and it was just as he hit that rich vein of goal scoring form that he went into. So I'm not having it that the captaincy made him good. It's because I said he was playing shite. I'm done with him.
Has he scored since the goal against Derby? I was trying to think this. I don't think he has.
I want to say yes, but I don't have the raw data in front of me, and I'm a stats man, Blair.
He should have scored if he gave that penalty instead of giving that penalty to Ugbo against Millwall, and he would have kept on scoring because that's how streaks work.
Well, let's get into the highlights of the Swansea game, because there was one from, I think it was Marv, who got it to Windass and ended up blazing one wide on the left hand side, didn't he?
I think you've been a bit what's the word? Positive there, Dan. Get into the highlights of the Swansea game.
It weren't a classic, were it, mate?
No. It really was a resistible force against a movable object. It was that.
I mean, I only saw the second half, to be fair, but by all accounts, there wasn't much going on in the first half. A couple of sort of wind-ass shots that were dragged wide, weren't they? And that's kind of it, wasn't it? One of them actually were a bit frustrating because Ugbo got himself into a lovely position in the box, and if the cross had come in rather than the actual shot that it ended up being, it might just have fell for him. But Windass, just decided to have a swing at it, and obviously it went wide. But I think his two scuffed wide shots were about all they could speak about first half.
Probably thought, I'm not popping to him again.
I must admit, Ash, John mentioned EK Ugbo there, but there was one bit where he kind of, I don't know why he was that deep, he kind of pulled out an interception in the middle of the park, played a beauty of a 1-2 with, I want to say, Svante Ingelsson, who blazed one wide.
Yeah, he's getting to be a bit of a. I'm trying to find the word without being like too harsh on him. Not scapegoat, because that's harsh, that is. But he's getting to be one of those players now that what is he now? 29 games without a goal. I think I saw a stat earlier, and I should have saved it. Someone tweeted it. So whoever this one, it was like he's only had 22 shots in his 29 games.
I've seen the tweet.
And he's only got 5 on target. And that is about 1,200 minutes, I think, total game time, something like that. So it's just not happening for him. And I get the calls, and we're going to talk about it later about Smith, because he is scoring. And I get that, but he's scoring off the bench. Now, do you change that and start him? Or do you keep going, bring him off the bench? Well, but I think that Ugbo to start, I think he has been playing better. And I know the stats are crap if you're a stats wanker. Oh, excuse my French. He hasn't scored. He hasn't assisted. He's only got 5 shots on target. But people that are a lot cleverer and have got much more spare time and sit there in front of all these graphs and stuff will say, yeah, but he's offering a lot more. But as us idiots that just watch it with our eyes, go, he hasn't scored. He hasn't done it. He's rubbish.
I agree, Ash. I was going to get into this point after the Coventry game. But
go for it, mate. Go for it. There wasn't a lot else to talk about.
We might as well just do it now, because I think Danny Roll clearly has an identity, and he wants a technical footballer up front who can drop deep, like deeper, can like drop into like a number like a false 9 or into a 10 position. And he just, for some reason, just won't trust Michael Smith. Because Michael Smith can't do that. He is just essentially a traditional number 9, isn't he? An English number 9, big, 6'4", absolutely massive. He does press well. I do really like him, but you need to look at Nottingham Forest. I know Chris Wood's a better player, but he weren't scoring at all for Newcastle or Nottingham Forest. And Nuno's not built a team around Chris Wood, but he's built a system which involves him. And I just think Roll needs to just, I don't know, take it on the chin and go, look,
the difference with that is the rest of the football that Nottingham Forest play. Because, bear in mind, right, they're playing an 80% of the game without the ball, and they're being really clever in when they do their counter-attacks. And Danny likes to play a bit more Kevin Keegan in the 90s, where it's very much go 3 cockerels to the country file and try and get
most of our games when we're under the cosh, and we don't seem to have the ball a lot.
But we've been discussing at length.
If the games we win, we tend to have a lot less possession than the team we beat.
Yeah, but I think that's because of the way we set up in the first half. I think it's a lot more of a resilient thing in the first half, and then we go for it in the second. I think it's a great way of maintaining energy levels and things like that. But we'll get into that when we get to the Coventry game. Blair, just do me a favor. Can you just pull your microphone down to your chin for me, please, pal? Just because I'm. I remember once we did a show and you ate a packet of Quavers and we heard every chew. Now I'm hearing every bit of air plowing through your nose, mate. So that's nice. It's all right. You sound great. Now, John, let's talk about Smudge's goal.
Yeah, it was good pressing, wasn't it, from us? We were pressing the back line, and and we've been doing that really well lately, and we did it well again when we come on to the Coventry game. But yeah, we pressed them really well on their back line, forced them into a mistake, came to Windass with a perfect layoff for Smith, and it was just laid on a plate for him. All he had to do was just kind of direct it, because the pass was that exquisite that all they had to do was just kind of shape it into the corner. And I felt confident when it fell to him that he was going to, at the very worst, make a keeper make a really good save. But he did better than that. He slotted it into the bottom corner for a thoroughly deserved lead. And it looked like the kind of game where one goal was going to win it anyway. So I felt quite confident, really, that we would go on and win that game. So it was just the tonic that we needed in that second half. And again, like Blair says, Smith coming, or the debate as such, Smith being an impact sub rather than starting every game, it seems to work, doesn't it? Whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with Ugbo getting start and playing time or not, the role of Michael Smith seems to have evolved. He seems to be more of an impact sub, and it does rest him at times, but he's still effective and it's still working, and none more so than that Swansea game.
I know, but he's trying Jamal Lowe down the middle, he's trying Ugbo down the middle. It's not working. He throws Smith on every time and he scores.
Smith the saviour, isn't it? Yeah.
But how many times, though, Blair, have we seen a number of times where, like, we'll go, right, he's earned his start, and then he's been an absolute waste of time? We've seen it 100,000 times with 100,000 strikers for Sheffield Wednesday, haven't we? Like, there's an element of, like, if you were Man City and we knew Edin Dzeko was going to score off the bench, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Well, it's like, thing, isn't it? I know it's a completely different player, but Tricky Trev, didn't it? When we signed Tricky Trev, we always brought him on for the last 20 minutes or something like that, didn't we? And he turned again.
He was in his 40s then, though, wasn't he? Like,
yeah. Obviously, the age thing. I mean, Smith, 33? Obviously, I think Francis were more like, I don't know, 30, 36, maybe, something like that. But he knows that he's not going to give you that kind of performance for 90 minutes for 40 odd games. So he uses him smartly, and partly because Ugbo's not worked out as well, but it's working right now, so I don't know.
Not working out. That's a very diplomatic way of putting it, John. I kind of like that. Ash, go on, Ash.
Sorry, Dan. Sorry, mate. I interrupted.
Sorry again.
What? Sorry, Dan. I just wanted to mention, like, I know you follow your team, and whoever went to Swansea the other night, fair play to him, and I will never ever slag, shout, or anyone who went there, but it's like, did the team realise how far it was? It was like 4.5 hours, 5 hours there, and didn't get back till 3 a.m. or whatever. And then for that first half, the team didn't turn up. And I know they're not doing it for the fans, of course, and I'm sure all the players want to put, but if you were stood there for that first half, I'm shaking your head going, what have we done here? Come on, lads.
This is the beauty of football, isn't it? No one cares. We won.
But I tell you what, though, but like you're saying in that first half, though, like, when you go all the way down there or something like that, do you go for the football anymore, or are you just going to see your pals and dick about and drink on a Tuesday night? Are we even going for the footy anymore? All right, it's nice when we win. We're like, yeah, go on up the lads, we won. But are we going for the football anymore?
The game is to play a lot of very nice football, create a lot of chances, and we don't win.
Yeah.
It was awful, and it was just thankful we got the 3 points and we won somehow from obviously a ridiculous error from their centre half, weren't it? And
what about when they scored?
Oh my God, when they scored!
Jeez,
how did that make you feel?
Once you've scored,
how did it make me feel? Nearly chucking because I didn't go because I wasn't.
Yeah, you're not an idiot.
I'm not a proper supporter, Daniel. That's what it is.
Mate.
And I'd work in the morning after o'clock.
You know what you're saying there, though, Ash, about turgid first half. Dan saying, "Are you really going for the football?" The players at some point must feel safe, because I don't know how long it is on the coach to Swansea. It's South Wales, isn't it? So it might be 3 hours. You know what I mean? So they must be thinking,
want rest.
It might be more, might be 4, like I said, but like I wonder if players feel it as well. Like, I can't be bothered sitting on the coach.
I tell you what, John. Actually, right, it's interesting you brought that up, because last week there was a bit of Sheffield Wednesday news about the fact that we'd hired a sleeping coach, a coach in which you can sleep on, right? And my first thought when I saw that was, they don't have one already. Like, we've been going down to Plymouth. What we've been going on? Like one of those awesome cats or something, or one of those pump trucks that you get. Like what? Scooter. Like what do you mean that they can't sleep already? Does it mean like they've hired like one of them fancy take that style tour buses or something like that with the little curtains where they get the groupies in? Is that what they've got?
Exactly that. In a former life, I used to work on them sorts of.
Oh God, of course
coaches.
you did. Tell me about that. Come on, we'll get some inside knowledge here. Hang on, quick. Let's get it. Let's get it. So we got a quick hot topic. Ladies and gentlemen, today's hot topic is talking about bus electronics. Go on, Ash, tell me things.
No, it was not anything. It's just basically they're the most uncomfortablest thing ever. Never no more. There's no room, or it might just be me and not like a 10-stone footballer svelte thing. It's just a bloody 20-stone electrician that's rolling around on it. But they're not very good, mate.
That was about 25 years ago when you and I used to do a lot of midweek drinking back then. Have you managed to test out these beds and have yourself a little nap while you were supposed to be working? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Saturday morning overtime, hungover it was, yeah.
The rumour mill. Sorry, Ash's old boss. Like, you know what I mean? Right. Swansea was shit. Let's move on. They equalised. It got disallowed. Let's move on. Listen, Blair, we played Coventry for the 17th time in
Go to the
about
comments.
4
Go
weeks.
to the comments.
Do you want to go to the comments? Have we got comments to look at, Ash? Have we got any in? What we got?
Not really, no.
Have we got? There's one there from...
Gamer.
Yeah, that's in it. We've got the one there from Craig Hayward that says, begs the question when we're talking about strikers, begs the question, where is McNeil at? I feel like he's not really had... I don't think he's had a fair crack of the whip, if I'm honest. I think that when he played that game against Hull, two beautiful finishes. And I just don't feel like he's had a fair crack of the whip. What's he not doing?
Every time they upload a video about training and stuff, and he always smashes it in. I know it's only on the training ground, but it always seems to go in the top corner.
I wonder what the issue there is. That's an interesting one for me. But
they didn't even send him out on loan in January either. It's like you just think if you're not going to play it, if you have no intention of playing him at all, might as well send him out.
I don't think there's any issue. I just don't think they bought him for the under-21s or whatever it is. They've no intention of playing him. That's what I thought anyway. And he came on, the last thing he came on against, who was it? I can't remember who it was. For about 10 seconds, he touched the ball.
Yeah.
That was it. The whole he got given a goal, didn't he? For just kicked out to him. But yeah, he's not got a fair crap, but I just think that they've no intention of playing him and he weren't bought for first team football. Frustrating,
especially that striker, if we're not going to give Smudge a crack of the whip, why are we giving the other
especially
two?
After last season, the success with Cadamartri, he was only an under 21 striker. Yeah, he was scoring in 21s, but not one. But he didn't have the pedigree that he had. I mean, he plays for Man City. Then Man United brought him for 700 grand or something, and then he scored loads for their reserves, and then it was like he's had a brilliant academy life, and you can talk about it's only an academy, but Gassama went through the PSG academy and it's paying dividends now, isn't it? Like how good he is.
Dividends, I tells you.
Might be playing Monopoly Go earlier, but
before we get on to Coventry, there's been a sponsor Monopoly. There's been a squad list submission, and we've left out Hamer, Iorfa, and Famewo. We've named Deschamps Bernard in there, but he's going to be out for 6 months, which seems a bit arse about face, if I'm honest. So, for example, we've given him a shirt, we've named him in the squad, but you know what I mean? He's not going to play again, which seems a bit insane. So, there's space there for some free agents to come in. John, do you reckon that we've got to be looking at a centre back now, or do you reckon that Ryo Hatsusa is it?
Well, I mean, if we don't, it's going to continue to be centre back by committee, isn't it? Because we're shoving Max Lowe in there. You're talking about Hatsusa coming in, and we've seen Liam Palmer drop in there before in the past. All undersized, by the way. What we really want, don't we? We want a proper.
I want an 8-dimple Lego brick.
3-2. We want a big lad who's there, and he's going to win headers. He's going to he's going to be effective in both boxes. Really, you might send him up for corners if you're losing, and defending your own box as well. So we definitely need one. That's there's no question about that, because we were short before we lost Bernard, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and now we've lost him.
Is a free agent going to be any better than Otabayo now?
It just depends, doesn't it, how much football they've played?
Yeah, because Alex Miller said last week it could take 5 weeks to bed him in fitness-wise, right?
Then they've got to get used to the system.
Yeah, and if they've not played for a while, then you're only going to start getting the best out of them just as the season's running out. So it has to be like a free agent who's kept himself fit or has only got released by his club not that long ago. So it's going to be slim pickings even in that market, isn't it? But I'm sure they're looking. I'm sure if they can do something, they will. But then again, I guess it just depends how we go, because he's obviously Danny's talked about this, get to 50-point mark, and then he's going to look at like being more adventurous and taking more risks, which kind of intrigues me, because I think we kind of do that now anyway. So I don't know what's going to happen when we get the magic 50-point mark. We're going to have like overlapping centre backs like United did a few seasons ago and stuff like that.
No, we're going to drop Liam Palmer like third period French and start chucking 5 attackers on. Maybe even have a strike partnership like old money.
Did you say he wanted 50 points by the international break? And that's the next 2 games. What are we on? 45 now, so we need 5 points out next. Burnley and Sunderland.
Actually, while I've got you, Ash, do you mind whipping me up a graphic of the next 5 fixtures for me, please? I'm pretty sure you had one in the pocket somewhere, and then getting me one ready for later on, because that could be today's hot topic. I'm just awful. Feeling that it's not great, is it? Right then, so Dish is out. He's having surgery. He might not play again this season. Big loss. And then we went into Coventry, and let me get the Coventry lineup. And there is Barry Bannon back with his captain's armband after taking a week off after having a broken foot. And everybody went, "Oh my God, season's gone to bits," and there he is. I was surprised to see him, weren't you, Blair?
Yeah, well, I looked at that lineup, and I even texted my mate, and I said, "This is going to be the kiss of death." But that midfield was fucking good, in it. Charles, Ingleson, Armstrong, Bannon. I thought, Christ, that is a good midfield. When last time we had a midfield that strong? What, Carlos probably.
I'm trying to work out where Ingleson fits in to that midfield, right? So if you look at it,
his running was brilliant, and I think he's just let him have like not a free roll, but he's almost like got. I can't work it out. He's almost like just I
can't work out if he's out on the right, if he's playing off the striker. I genuinely can't work out where he plays. But you're right, he does have the, and I'm at pains to say the number 10 role. But I feel like that's the closest I can do it, because you young kids now, apparently the shirt number denominates where they play on the pitch. And completely forgetting that number 10 used to be the tall shit kicky striker next to your Michael Owen, your nippy one. But you forgot all that, didn't you?
Was the Ingleson the penalty shout? Was that early on in the Coventry game? Yeah, very early on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he didn't go down, and he stayed up.
That was genuinely one of the first highlights of the entire game. I say highlights, but this one left me feeling quite devastated. There was that penalty, and then John. Second one after that one was their goal. I think Lowe could have done better here.
Yeah, I agree. He could have done. It was a bit of a surreal moment, that, because it was right in the middle of the applause for the young lad that lost his life, sadly. So we were all stood up clapping for the young boy, and as we were clapping, they had an attack down our left hand side. They had a bit of a 1-2 with each other on the right flank, and he's allowed to put the ball in unchallenged. And as you said, Max Lowe, not being a proper centre half, is hand out muscled by Ellis, who's managed to just flick his head onto it, and Beadle's no chance. It's just going to nestle in the corner there. So Did
you think Ingleson and Johnson could have done better to stop the cross from coming in?
I think you want to close him down, ideally, don't you? I mean, he was allowed to kind of just trap it and put it in.
It was like when that clapping started. It's like the intensity just dropped a little bit. I think because obviously the players are aware why the clapping is going on. It's not it's awful. I don't know. And it was a blade, weren't he? And then they score while we're clapping for him. So it was almost like poetic in a way. But
yeah, fair play. And I hope his And I hope it meant something to somebody, because it really is horrific. I don't know what's going on in various parts of this city. Ashley, I'm going to come to you because you brought it up earlier on in reference to Ike Ogbe being a bit of a scapegoat. But I feel you're right. I don't think scapegoat's the right word, but there is an element of this shot that he took where he kind of chipped it out to the left-hand side of the goal, tried to slap one in on the near post. And I think had that not have been somebody under pressure to score, they'd have probably given that up. I think that was a bit of an ambitious one.
Yeah, it's just not going for him, is it? I don't think it matters what.
Do you not think he's trying too hard now to try and scramble one out, and it's making it worse? Because that's what happens to strikers, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the pressure's got it. I'm sure he's not stupid. I'm sure he knows all we said about it earlier. He knows his stats. He knows people every time the 2 o'clock comes or an hour before the game, sees his name and questioning Danny's team sheet, because obviously we said about Michael Smith. But I do feel watching him over the last 3 or 4 games he's played, I do feel he has been better, as in his work rate, his positioning. It's just not there, is it? And even if he doesn't score the rest of the season, it's a shame, because it's one of them, isn't it? We had a striker on loan who scored 7 in 18 in the end, weren't it? But obviously those important goals. Yeah, and now we've spent $2.5 million on him, and it's just like we had. Well, on the podcast, I had it a fair few years ago when they on about Liam Palmer's brother. You know, the other thing, sounds like with Mike Ugbo we've signed, doesn't it? Not Ike Ugbo.
Mikey Ugbo.
We've ended up signing George Weah's cousin, haven't we? He's come direct from Southampton.
Yeah, Ali Daei, weren't it? But it's hard for him. It's hard.
The goals he scored last season were all manner of goals, weren't they? They weren't even like the same type of goal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every goal was brilliant. You know, different type of goal. Really, some of them he just dug himself out and smashed it, kicked leather off it. Some of them, he's climbing on the back of a centre half on the back post.
Yeah.
Oh, there was that one against Millwall where I think it was Poveda went tearing down the left hand side, and he's bust along from the halfway line to get one muscle in a geezer. I've not seen any of that player at all, and there's something wrong there, and I'm going to start doing some nasty tweets about him, I think.
No, you're not. That one where the ball, the one you're on about, the shot in the first half that the keeper saved. I mean, the ball came into him, and he turned. He you know what? He didn't lay it off. He actually turned and went towards the goal, shifted it out to the left a little bit, had a shot, and keeper good save. Like, it was easy, really, save for the keeper.
Yeah,
but it was like he didn't have the. It's not like he didn't have the confidence to try that. You know, ball comes into him, he didn't just lay it off to somebody else. You know, like shying away from it. He actually seemed like he got it, turned against the goal, and then went for it. And I'm like,
it seemed a bit more it's an hope for me, though. It seemed like if I get this goalwards, it might go in.
Yeah, he was going to struggle from that angle, weren't he? Because he took himself too wide to realistically score, unless it's like a Ryan Giggs-esque, like into the roof of the net. So, I mean, the keeper's got his angles covered, so in the end, it was a comfortable save. He had another moment, if you remember, as well in the first half, where the ball come into him in the box, and his first touch were horrific, and it took him too wide, and then he's snatching at a shot to try and get one on target, and then there was a bit of a scramble in box, weren't there? Well,
you know, Armstrong's picked him out perfect, hasn't he? You can't ask for a better. It didn't visit him. It was you can only criticism it was chest height, but a professional striker should be able to control it and hit it. And he's fell over.
Let's get to the next point then. So this is the disallowed one, isn't it now? So Ellis Sims was absolutely having the game of his life somehow. And Blair, I feel he had the right to go for this, but I feel like the manner in which he did it was a little bit like. Really? Go on.
If this was against us, I would have been. You cannot say Beadle was in full control of that ball. The referee cannot confirm that he had full control of that ball, and he should have counted. And I thought we got really let off there. And I think we'll get to the winner later. But if that was the other way around, I would have been well pissed off.
Really? Anybody else disagree? Anybody see an absolute foul in there?
I agree with Blair. I've
think-
watched it. I watched it. I know.
Make a note of the day and time.
I watched it.
2030.
I watched it a couple of times on the replay, and I agree with Blair. It's not like Beadle's got full control. He's got two outstretched arms, and I don't think he's got two hands on it. From the angle that I've seen on the replay, you don't get them all, do you? But he spills it, and yeah, Ellis Sims has got all the right in the world to go for that. I can't see anything. I agree with Blair. If that was against us, we would have been up in arms.
I also agree, and I'm annoyed about it. I want to do a bit of I want to do a bit of contentious radio.
It's annoying because we want to feel hard done by, don't we? But that in the end, it were them that were hard done by, because that was a perfectly good goal. It should have stood, and it would have been mistake number 2 for Beadle to make his afternoon even worse, wouldn't it? But it was a perfectly good goal.
I mean,
you can't rule stuff
this
out
is
like
the
that.
problem. Like against QPR, when Beadle was sat on, nothing's given. They score.
Hang on, Blair. Hang on. We are getting cooked in the comments here. So, Ash, do you want to bash them up and read them out for me?
Yeah, Craig Hayward, you're all wrong. Crying emojis, hands up. So he's got his ear. Right, guys. Due to ref watch, he cannot challenge because Beadle has touched the ball, so Ellis can't challenge.
What?
I don't know what that means.
What? He's touched it. Just because he's touched it, he can't challenge. I could touch it with my little finger. Somebody can slide in and kick it out from underneath me.
I thought the law of the game was you had to have both hands on the
both hands.
Craig, you're gonna have to show you're working on that one. I'm intrigued. If you've got a link for me, let me know, because you might understand it better than I do.
J Blogs, it was a foul. Beadle had a hand on the ball while it was on the ground. Late and reckless. Now, one hand, I believe if it's one hand, he can go for it, can't he? I think that's the thing. Did you see that from 80s where keeper had it in one hand and someone come behind him and headed it out of his hand and then tapped it in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can you remember that? I think that's my limited knowledge of that.
And gaffs.
Yeah, with Nick Hancock or whatever his name was.
It was either Nick Hancock or Angus Deaton. It was one of them. It was one of them. Well, a lot of people diss it. Oh, for fuck's sake. It is because Beadle has got one hand stronger than the other. Now, there's some 80s humour there for you, kids. That's an old gag. Google it. Craig A, what's he saying? Yep, Gallagher explained it. Oh, so someone's been on telly and explained it. So Gallagher explained it. One hand means control now, not two. They've changed the rules on us, Ash. We're old men.
Gallagher who just agrees with everything what on Sky Sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Dermot Gallagher, who looks like Hangul from Wizardora without the mustache.
Wickerman's been on. If you pause the video when Radoni hits the shot, Sims is offside. So was it called for offside, not a foul?
No, it was called for a foul, but it's interesting you mention offside. It's interesting you mention offside because Danny mentioned something at the end of the game which we can speak about as well.
But fair enough. Right, listen, as we head closer towards the obscurity and inevitability of the corporate world, some people are going to try and flog you their wares. All right, then, welcome back. I'm just going to make a note of the time because it normally saves me a lot of work later on. Right, then, so listen, we got to the disallowed goal. We've done a bit on that. Now, Sheffield Wednesday goal. Ashley, tell me all about it.
We scored.
I'm just trying to think of it now. It's Johnson's gone down the left-hand side, right?
And
we didn't even score our own.
And I'd say we scored. We didn't even. So, right. Marvin Johnson. He's not had the best of time in the last few weeks, has he? Maybe a month or 6 weeks, something like that. He's not been at it. He's not been his usual self. So he's
the rumour mill.
So
right.
Right. He's not been on his game. He's been accused of obviously lacking a bit of trying. I've seen some of the goals he's been a bit lazy or he's not been on it. But I tell you what, the game on Saturday was one of his best games he's had for a fair few weeks. I thought he was really good. I thought he took it to him, and he. I mean, it was a good cross come shot type thing, weren't it? And their defender was awful, weren't he?
That was absolutely fraught with double entendres. That was, but I enjoyed that you got through it, Ash. That was
the
that was
keeper
all
saves
right.
it, doesn't he? The keeper dives it, gets a hand to it, or just throws his body
And
in
it's still well, it's an OG, isn't it? So you're not really expecting your own defender to do you on the near post, are you? It's kind of one.
We get lucky, but it bounces off the keeper into. It's like a pinball, isn't it?
But the weirdest thing, right, and I'm going to put the stats up now, is Blair, right? The weirdest thing here is that we absolutely battered them. I think there's a comment there, Ash, somewhere saying that, this is the seventh time in about 14 months we've played Coventry, and we battered them. We were better. However, there was 3 goals in that game, and they scored all 3, and it kind of annoys me somewhat because it doesn't really tell the tale of the tape.
This is the thing. So it's like you look at like the games we played against Coventry last season. And Coventry were far, far better than Wednesday last season. Every game, they battered us. This season, we beat them at their place. It was a scrappier game. This one, we've had 22 shots, but was their keeper keeping him in the game? Do you know what I mean? Were you thinking, his keeper's like having a game of his life? No, and I think I said this to Terry once, because I sit near Terry, and I said, we are awful at hitting the target. And when we do hit the target, we seem to score. I think our conversion when we do hit the target is flawless. But I know this game, the ones we did hit the target, they didn't challenge upset the keeper at all. They didn't even challenge the keeper. They were all routine saves. Whereas I don't know if it's a data boffins thing. Whereas the only player who seems to want to spat it from outside the box is Windass. Because I don't know if it's like drilled in the heads now, but if you shoot and miss, you could like trigger a counter attack, or you're missing, it's a goal kick, you're giving possession back to them.
Yeah, I do wonder if that's something that's coached out of him, because it only seems to be Windass having a dig, and then maybe Barry Bannon if he's on the edge of the D. You know what I mean? He just seems to be in that specific area, and then it's kind of safe to have a shot from there. John, let's look at these statistics, shall we? So battered them on shots, 22 shots, 8 on target. Blair's right that in terms of percentage, that's a poor amount of shots taken actually on target. Shots off 7 blocked. 5 attempts out the box, regardless of, in spite of what we've just said there, and the 3 offsides. We beat them, didn't we? That's the first time we've been playing them, and like I said in the build-up, like we were better than them for the first time in a long time. Like the last couple of times we've played this season, I've been sat there thinking, it's still going to be tough. I was quietly confident about this game that we get something out of it.
Yeah, I think we've just been steadily progressing. I mean, they took a new manager on in Lampard, and I think they were 17th when they took over. So they'd started rising up the table under Lampard. They're a team that's still been, had money spent on it from the sale of Jairo Queiroz that they had the season before last or whatever it were. So that Ellis, who obviously scored, he was £5 million alone. So squad value, they're well in front of us. But we've been inching closer to them since we've played them before. Our performances have improved, and we looked far, far better, I thought. Best we've looked against Coventry since we've started playing them again, since we've been back in the same league. I thought we absolutely dominated that game, and for large spells, it was just wave after wave of attack, and the only thing that was letting us down, which is letting us down all season, is final third play. Lots of overplaying in the final third rather than just like being decisive and just getting shots in on goal, trying to walk it in at times, and that's reflected in the stats what you put up there as well.
That'll be my next point.
Yeah, I just think once we start to be more ruthless, and maybe it's just that the players, he's trying his best, but the players just can't quite ruthless or good enough at this moment in time. But yeah, we absolutely dominated them, Dan, and I think as a Coventry fan, even the most hardened Coventry fan would have to say that we were by far the better side in that game, and they'd have been running onto that coach with a point. You never mind all 3. Do you know what I mean? It was just crazy.
I tell you what, Ash. Listen, before we get to the big moment of the game, let's go through a few comments. There were some people talking about our shooting prowess in front of goal on the comments. You got one there from J Blogs that agrees with Blair.
Yeah, Jay Block says,
there,
Blair is
Jay.
spot on. We couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. And Gareth Fox, we seemed allergic to putting our laces through the ball in around their area. We're trying to walk the ball in. And Craig agrees as well. He said, we're going from having our own goal this season to try to walk in the cries of hit it, fell
We
flat.
are. It was same against Luton. Brilliant outside the 18-yard box. Like passing, some of the passing and going out wide. Absolutely brilliant. But as soon as the final, like, again, cliche, the final ball, you know, when they pass in the box, it's just like they just forget how to pass or something, or just forget how to shoot or something. They do all these great passing, all these movement, you know, flick-ons and all sorts outside the area. But as soon as they get in the final third, they're just, or the 18-yard box, they just seem to just capitulate. I don't know what's up.
Yeah, there's no balls of quality going onto the edge of the six or the penalty spot, is there?
It must be like probability and data, and just like if you shoot in these areas, you're going to have more chance to score. I believe it really is that. I think Danny is a bit of a data boffin.
What do you call them, Ash? Stat wankers.
Yeah, stats wankers. It's hard because you don't want to believe that. You want to believe that any striker, attacking player, any player that's got a shot at goal or tries the chance of a shot at goal takes it. Doesn't matter what the manager has said or the instructions they've got. You just take a shot, don't you? Instinct, hit it, try. But I agree. It just sometimes us as fans is sat in the stands seeing, oh, I could have swung a foot at that. He could have put that in. He could have toe end that. But no, they take another touch or they lay it off, and it must be to the instructions, because you'd think that any professional footballer wants to put a shot on target, wants to get a goal, but if they're in their head all week, they've been coached to do something else, and like Blair says, or play the stats and put it into a certain area, because if it's in that area, we've got a 63.9% chance of scoring if you hit it with your left foot, right foot, or whatever the bollocks is. And all the XP things and all that, it's just shoot, man. Just shoot, isn't it? It's fans, and it's frustrating as hell, isn't it? Frustrating as hell that you see all
no
these
one ever
XG
gambled the far post either. How many times have you ever shot where we shoot?
That's another thing I was going to say, Blair. Just exactly
what no one runs in.
Just exactly what you're saying. That you see it all the time. Especially, you'll notice as well, Ash, being on the cup, where it's like exactly what Blair's just saying there. Where's the man gambling that the keeper might spill it and it'll fall back into his path, or where's the man gambling that on a corner it's going to get headed out to the edge of the box and you can bring it down and have a free shot. You know, it's just little things like that. I mean, you know, we're not questioning Danny. He's a great coach, but I think sometimes forget what Danny says. It's instinct, isn't it? This is what you've got to do as a professional footballer. Think, right, I'm going to run in after this because if he spills it, I'm there. Or, you know, on this corner, right, I'm going to sit on the edge of the box. It falls to me. You know, I've got options. I can lay it back to the wing for another cross, or I can.
That's where I feel Barry Bannon should be. Steve Beastie used to call it the Glenn Whelan position, the edge of the D on a corner, and if it bobbled out, he would rifle it top bins. And then the first point you made, where's the geezer doing the gambling on the back beans on toast? He sat on the bench till half time. But we discussed that. We've moved on from there. Ashley,
Shay Charles penalty shout before we move on to the goal.
The Shay Charles penalty shout. Go on then.
Well, it was when he's beat the man, the ball's gone, and then he's just stuck a leg out. I think it gets given in the Premier League every day with VAR and the right to go down. He's felt contact, the ball's gone.
I think in terms of just referee on the pitch, I think I saw a post that said if that had been in the midfield, it'd have blown up every day. And I think you're right. Whether it'd be right or not, I'm not saying it was, but that would have definitely got blown up if it was in the middle of the pitch. Because it was a penalty, because it's the Championship, because there's no VAR. Difficult call, I thought.
It wasn't a penalty at all. He left his leg there. You were looking for it.
Yeah, but we see them given, and I don't understand like where the foul takes. If your leg's there and he kicks it, you've been suckered in, pal. But then if you go to, it happens in the Premier League all the time. You see it all the time. These guys who are clearly dragging their heels, like Tyreek Hill trying to catch one from Tua Tagovailoa. Like, he's dragging those ankles before he runs out of touch. It happens all the time. But I don't know.
There were three, weren't there?
I'm
were
getting
3 penalty shouts in the game.
I don't know. Shouts is a
Shouts.
Shouts is Alan from Mexborough. You know what I mean? I don't think that they were genuine shouts, to be fair. But you know what I mean? I don't mind. But big shout out to the Coventry City fans watching tonight. Ashley, I'm going to give it to you. Now, beforehand, there was a great save from Beadle where he was kind of in his own net and he came out, arms out, saved it really well. And then the moment came.
It wasn't a great save. It was bad positioning, wasn't it? To start.
I'm just trying to say something nice before we get into the incident.
You'll rip him.
Yeah, before. Well, what can we say?
Listen, I tell you what. Listen, I've been thinking about this all day, how to word it, and I don't want to every time we speak go, well, Beadle's been a good keeper and he's kept us in a lot of games. He has, right? He has. That's what he's done. He's a very good keeper. But in that specific moment, he dropped his ass. And he's not shit. That is shit. That was shit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right.
Go on, Ash.
Been waiting for this, Danielson.
Go on, mate. Go on.
We've just gone on about our strikers, and we did play really well. That for one of the best first halves we've had for a while. We should have been 2-0 up easy. But we're not. People were lambasting a player who made one mistake. We've had 22 shots. We've just on about a striker who's only hit the target 5 times in 29 games or something. We've not this. A myriad of things gone on before this thing happened that could have prevented this from happening. Yes, I know it happened and it was shit. And I totally agree with you. Beadle wasn't shit. It was shit. I totally agree with what you mean by that. But there's the jumping on the benchitis that's come from this has been horrific.
Oh, God. Yeah. Charles is the answer, lads. Is that where you were going, Ash? People say no, Charles. No. Oh, right. I've seen people saying, get Charles in the net.
Oh, we'll come back to that. Carry on, Ash.
But I'm just saying this. He has, and I do believe that he has. Beadle has probably earned us more points than lost us, and he has had some errors as well. But that's the nature of the position. If you're saying he's probably He made 2 mistakes, all right, in that game. I believe that the first one, the disallowed Sims, he spilt it. Yes, he's made 2, but there is other things. There's strikers. We've only Smith has scored 10, and Windass has got 6, has he? They're 2. That's 16 goals. Do you know? It's a bigger picture than just him not being able to catch a ball that loses us a point.
Have you seen this, Ash? Have you seen this? There's people out there on the interwebs agreeing with you that you're now getting harumps. Harum.
I know. You know it doesn't happen very often, but it was shit. I'm not saying I agree with you. I don't think Beadle is shit.
Yes, that was just a poor decision. Now, back to what Blair was saying. But before we do, let's go to those comments from Jay and Matt and Craig there, Ash. Let's get into those.
Jay Blogs, it was a mistake by Beadle, but Bannon crap ball, Sissoko very weak on the wing, no defender, tries to protect the keeper by blocking the Sims run. Lots of errors that goal. I'd say someone else agree with me. Well.
Even before that, when we were on the attack, really putting the pressure on to get the winner, the free kick on the offside. I mean, I couldn't believe that. How can you be free kick from an How can you be offside from a free kick? And that would have it would have been a corner.
They probably changed the rules on us again, Blair. Yeah, we don't know anymore.
But Christ, lazy.
Matt Talbot, we're having to score 2 or 3 goals a game to win, even to draw at times. I'm happy with the season up to now, but I'm dreading next season with that role. Beadle is a young keeper and will make mistakes, but has been class this season.
Oh, okay.
Well,
we're gonna have to do it, aren't we? We're gonna have to do it today. Hot topic. I am at great pains to make this the hot topic. So, Blair, I'm just going to give you a sausage bowl, a soapbox. I don't know. Sausage bowl. I'm reading too many things as I'm trying to talk. I'm going to give you a soapbox to talk about.
What says bowl? Where's bowl? Where's bowl coming to?
Why are we talking about bowl? Stop talking about bowl. Let's get on the soapbox, and I'm going to give you the opportunity and John to talk about the comments of the Benchitis. The Beals made that one mistake, 2 in a game, if he got disallowed. Now we have to drop him for Pierce Charles. The Gammons are angry. The dads are angry, Blair. What do you reckon?
It happened early on in the season as well when Charles had a few decent cup games.
Yep.
When he had the most. People were saying this is impressive, but I thought it was bad. You know, they were saying like he was had the most successful passes and the most touches of the ball was our goalkeeper. I read that. I saw that as negative, not
that
positive.
Is a negative. That's not a good thing. He's not playing up front.
Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking hell. I don't want our keeper to touch the ball. To be honest, like ideally, that's like the opposite. I want my keeper to do. Right?
So you're firmly in the. Let's just stick with Beadle.
I've got a feeling. I mean, he could massively prove me wrong. He probably will, but I've just got a feeling that we're as Wednesday fans, we're dying because Sheffield United have a great academy. They always seem to produce a player. We don't seem to produce any. We've finally got a kid from Northern Ireland. He's a goalkeeper of all positions. You know, we want a striker, you want a midfielder to be a goalkeeper, fair play. And I think we were wanting him to be better than he is. And I think as a Wednesday fan, I think we always elevate people higher than their station.
John, are you going to stick up for the dads on the internet that what bloody Pierce Charles in me? I've planted my flag a number of times in this season, saying I'd just sell him, make some money. You know what I mean? Get another decent keeper in. But we're basing 2 mistakes, and the dads are all kicking off on the internet now, saying get Charles in, who's not played 1 league game. Let's not forget, he's not played a league game. Over a geezer who's played 42 for us.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of raw emotion after the game. I think when people have the weekend, get back to thinking rational head, think about it. No, Beadle's the number 1 for a reason. We don't even know what we've got in Charles. He's only played a few cup games here and there. All right, he plays for Northern Ireland, but greatest respects to Northern Ireland. They're in that lower category of in world football, so to speak. So we don't know how Charles is going to pan out. It's no time to be rash. It was a horrific mistake by Beadle, but I agree with lots of other people who said, you know, he saved us points in other games, and he'll save us more points going forward as well. Because one thing he'll want to do, he'll feel rubbish about what happened there. He'll feel like he cost us the game. So he'll be looking to make amends, whether it's, you know, he has a clean sheet in another game. Perhaps on Burnley on Friday, keeps a clean sheet against Burnley.
He's busy against Burnley.
That's a great result. He'll keep us in games.
So now he's saying he's allowed a load of touches. So yes, and that final comment there, Ash, from Matt Talbot. If you just chuck it on, brother. If you just put it up there, it says Pierce Charles would be a great keeper, but no reason to drop Beadle. Charles is one for the future. Maybe a season out on loan next season may do him the world of good. I agree. I don't know why we've kept hold of him if we've got Hamer sat there. However, go on, Ash.
No. Sorry, Dan. I thought you were going to bray. I didn't know you were going to do however. Apologies. There's people that were saying online, and I agree with John. He's very hot-headed into it. I'm sure when people calm down and just say, it's like, why are we developing someone else's player? So they were brought in, they think, Charles is better. Why are we developing Brighton's Beadle when we've got a kid sat on the bench? But these are probably the same people who's like saying, it's great that we've sent Cadamartri out on loan to League One, isn't it? You know,
yeah, that's what you do.
Loans are, right? That's what loans are.
We've got a better player. Beadle's a better keeper than Pierce Charles, and I agree with this. An element of, well, you know, why don't we just develop our own lad? I feel that we should send him out and have somebody else develop him as well, and we'll just all develop each other's keepers. But I still think Beadle's a better goalie. You know what I mean?
If Beadle's made a couple of mistakes in the Coventry game, and it's like, right, bring on the next keeper, which is Charles. Charles plays against Burnley, who are really at the bottom of the league. If he drops a couple of mistakes, then I would imagine that people say, he's only his first league game, he's young, he's had a couple of mistakes.
He's one of our own, you can't criticise him.
But then that's where the issue comes, is because Beadle's only, was he 11 months older than Charles, so he's still young. He's made a couple, but you're wanting to swap in another keeper for making mistakes. But then if the second keeper makes mistakes, who do you swap him for? Hamer? And then bring the older guy in.
David Stockdale.
Well, put it this way, right? You're talking about a manager who's seen Manuel Neuer play. You're talking about a manager who's been at Southampton and seen some of their goalkeepers. And they've had some good ones as well.
It was his first signing as well.
Yeah, if he thinks that Charles is ready to take over, he'd already be in by now. You're talking about a manager who could spot a player, can't you? Let's be right. So
yeah,
I trust in Danny's decision right now. So.
Okay, so let's wrap it up then. I think we're all in Beadle in camp. Keep commenting and tell us what you think when you get to this part of the video, if you're watching it back. It's time now to come to any other business. And Windass, Josh Windass, has won goal of the month for his 67-yard schlap against Derby County at home. I don't know why that tickled you, Ash. Am I coming in your ears?
I don't know. It was just, I've heard some, Thunder Bastard and Thwonker and also, but I've not heard that one before.
Has somebody scored one for Stoke from halfway line as well? I thought I saw something over the weekend that something similar to Josh Windass' goal, but I've not actually seen it.
Good.
Ex-Sheffield Wednesday player Lewis Baker, apparently.
Yeah. We had him on loan under Stuart Gray for about a week.
Yeah, for about 5 minutes. And Masaba has returned to fitness, a guy who's been struggling for form this season. So let's hope a period out on the sideline.
Someone else to miss the target. Get in.
I didn't even realise he was out. I just thought he'd been dropped for being.
Yeah, I thought he'd been dropped. I did.
It would be crap.
Yeah. I mean, we had this discussion and we're going over all ground again with Gassama and Masaba. When they first both arrived, Masaba was was up here, weren't he? Gassama was down here, and now it's just slowly just overtaking Gassama's thing, and Masaba's just not having the greatest of times, is he, at the minute? So if it was an injury that's been hampering him a bit, a long-term one, and he has had a few games out, then hey, hopes that he comes back firing, because obviously we've now brought in Sissoko, isn't it? Ibrahim Sissoko, who's playing in that same sort of position. There's going to be more people looking for more minutes. So,
what was the song that was going as well? Wake me up before you go. Who needs Salah when you got Sissoko?
I need Salah. I would much rather.
Salah. I don't get that song.
I need him. That would be absolutely lovely. And so yes, go on.
One
John.
thing as well, while we're still under an hour. So after the game, Danny Rule spoke about how he thought, penalty shouts, etc., and that we could have and maybe should have won that. Well, we should have won that game, shouldn't we? But he was talking loosely about VAR in the Championship. Now, what he said were, rather than full-blown VAR, one of the things that they considered, and you'll be familiar with this, Dan, being an NFL fan, same as me, is coaches' challenges. So a coach or / manager, whatever you want to call them, gets 2 challenges per game to say, look, I don't agree with that decision. Can you go and take a look? So it's not like everything's brought back to VAR for every decision.
The issue with that, though, John, is like, what's the penalty if the call on the field was correct? It's not like you have timeouts to, to jettison. And my other issue with it is, because it's still the same thing I've got now, is that the best thing about football is that it's just the same across the leagues. The issue being the last 5 years is that in low league football, we've had the most embarrassing thing in sin bins, and at the upper echelons, they've got VAR. The game isn't the same now through the pyramid, and that frustrates me somewhat. That's the biggest issue I've got. Until we can get kids on the park playing with VAR, then I won't be happy. And I know that's ridiculous because you've got those VO cameras now, and that's why my Twitter timeline's full of shit.
They are doing that method of VAR that John just said. They are doing that in like the FIFA Pro leagues which not as affluent and got as much money. So I think like Sweden top division's doing it.
But now the game's different in different countries now. Football's football. Do you know what I mean? And it's an international language, and it kind of does me head in. However, big important announcement tonight, ladies and gents. It's Ash's big time of the year. It's your big one, Ash. It's your massive time of the year. You've got some infographics as well. Crack on, my friend.
Yes, it's the time that Mrs. Rogers loves. And I'm not saying about Valentine's Day. I'm on about Easter. So, yes, everyone, if you didn't see it last year, we had the first, and I'm going to say it, annual, because it's classed as annual now if we're done it second year. So, annual Wednesday week Easter egg drop. So, yes, for last year we did a egg collection. You guys donated all your Easter eggs to our wonderful charity partners. So we had 3 games last season that you could donate. Unfortunately, we've only got 2 games this year because of the way the schedule's gone. So, yes, I'll just put it up. I know, well, blame something called the... Blame the derby. That's what it is. Here we go. So there we are. So Easter egg drop 2025 is the first donation station. Will be up on Saturday, the 5th of April against Hull City. And then the following week, so it's quite a quick turnaround, we're at home again against Oxford United. So Saturday, the 12th of April. We shall be outside the Megastore again, like we were last year. Come and say hello. Come and meet us. Come and drop off your eggs. Egg donation, not like. And then what we are going to be doing again is we're going to give everyone who donates, we're going to give a giveaway. Last season it was a shirt. We don't quite know what it's going to be this year, but it's going to be equally exciting. So
what we're going to do, we're going to volunteer Blair to go and queue up for you to go and get a pint at half time for the rest of the season. That's going to be the prize. Blair, the pint guy. You know what I mean? It'd be a great prize. People will snap your hand off for it, Ash. Listen, don't forget. Put the graphic up again, Ash. So let's go through that again. So we've got 2 games because we're minus a game this year. Saturday, the 5th of April and Saturday, the 12th of April. Hull and Oxford is when we are going to be collecting the eggs. Don't forget to bring your eggs. All right, then. Listen, thanks a lot for joining us. What I wanted to do is try something different because if you've got to this part of the show, if you've got to the end, I feel like you've invested. I feel like you've done it. And I want to start a conversation online. So these are our next 5 fixtures. We've got Burnley, Sunderland, Plymouth, Norwich, and I don't know who they are. Next 5, I just want you to comment your points total that you think that we are going to get. Points total. There is 15 available points there from Burnley, Sunderland, Plymouth, Norwich, and so...
Disgusting.
How many do you think we're going to get? Let's write that in the comments. Listen, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. You lot have been top banana. Blair, it's been nice to see you again. My former podcast, now current podcaster. John, Ash, thanks a lot. And you lot out there, see you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week. Bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your